Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in to A Spoonful of Comfort, reminding all of us that we have a spoonful of comfort. A spoonful of comfort is the minimum amount that we can give anybody. So, you not only do you not have to look for comfort, you can give comfort. I have some very special guests in this studio today, but before I introduce you to the guests, I want to remind parents about the Purvis Jackson Autism Foundation and that the Purvis Foundation is wanting to do things for parents of kids with handicaps in the city of Detroit and the surrounding area. Now, I know that if you have a child with a handicap that you need help, and that's what the Purvis Foundation does. We supply help to parents for if they need cooking help, cleaning help, send their child to camp, medication. So we want to do something for parents for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is in a couple of weeks, and we want to do something for parents for Mother's Day. So if you write a letter to the Purvis Jackson Foundation, Post Office Box 04422, Detroit 48204. Post Office Box 04422, Detroit 48204. Now, I've received a couple letters from parents, and the foundation is going to fulfill their request. But if you're the parent of a child with a handicap, I know that you need help. My son is 42, and I still need help. So that's what the Purvis Foundation is here for, to help you. We can't do everything, but we can do a little something maybe to make your day go a little better. Also, for Mother's Day, May the 12th, Mother's Day is May the 13th, but May the 12th, the church that I belong to, where I am a deacon, New Mount Vernon Missionary Baptist Church, we're having a Mother's Day brunch. And I have invited any parent of a handicapped child who wants to attend the brunch. You're welcome to come out, and the Purvis Foundation will sponsor you. Now, Mount Vernon Church is located in Ferndale. It's 1 block west of Wyoming and 1 block north of 8 Mile. There is the Mount Vernon Church in Detroit, Michigan, but this one is in Ferndale, Michigan. So we would be happy to meet you at the luncheon and pay for your luncheon, or wherever else you might want to go to eat. We'd be happy to do that for you, because being the mother of a child with a handicap is really difficult. And I've had help a lot of times, but the times that I didn't have help, I didn't know if I was going to be able to survive. Also on May the 12th, there's going to be a show at the Masonic that's going to be featuring the Spinners. It's going to be the Spinners, Enchantment, Al Hudson with One Way, and the Floaters. So this is going to be old-fashioned, old-school show for all of us people that like the old-school music. I hope to see you there. So you can see May 12th is going to be a busy day for me. I'm going to take a short break, and when I come back, I'm going to introduce you to my very special guest.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known.
Thank you so much for sticking with me for a spoonful of comfort. I want to introduce to you my in-studio guest, who I am very pleased and honored to have on the show. This is Gino Clark and Yvonne Bernay Allen, and they are going to tell you their stories. They have such an interesting story, but I'll tell you, Gino Clark is the son of Tony Clark, and I don't know how many, us old school folks, we knew Tony Clark. I don't know how many of you ever heard of Tony Clark, but Tony Clark not only was an entertainer, he was the entertainer. That was his biggest hit. You're the entertainer, the entertainer. I won't sing anymore. Please welcome Gino Clark.
Hello, everyone. How's it going out there? I'm glad that Claudine having me on her show today, and I would like to, let everybody know that I have a new book release coming out. It's called Genius of Tony Clark, and you can find this book on Amazon.com. You can order, as many copies you need, but all proceeds, the book will be going to the Tony Clark Foundation. TFC. That's what that stands for on the book, Tony Clark Foundation, and it's gonna help out. Is a foundation for kids that had domestic violence in their life, and it should be a really nice foundation. Plus, the fact that you know, me and Yvonne here, we have been working in the studio, getting a couple of songs together that my father wrote. Um, they're called one is My First Love, and the other one is You Can Do It. And those should be released, available in the next few weeks or so. And so just look out, and you hear a lot from us coming up.
Thank you so much. Now, did you tell us the name of your the book that you wrote about your father?
Well, the book is called The Genius of Tony Clark, Seen in Hindsight. And the author is my cousin, Dr. Darlene Gaskin. And it's a very interesting book. Get your copy.
The Genius of Tony Clark. I found out things about Tony Clark because I knew him. He used to come in the 20 grand where I worked, and I'm having a 20 grand reunion August the 11th, and I'm hoping that you two will be able to come. But he used to come in the 20 grand a lot, and he sang, but I had no idea what a good writer he was. That he had written so many hit songs. Can you tell us a couple of his hits that he wrote?
Well, he wrote David Ruffin, Hurry Mr. Bus Driver. He wrote for Aretha Franklin. He wrote Dr. Feelgood. He also wrote for Yvonne, sitting next to me, one of her big hits that's really big in the UK, Just Like You Did Me. Charles Buddy Smith, When You Lose the One You Love, and it goes on and on. I'm study finding out information, that entertainers that he worked with, Popcorn Wiley. He did some stuff with Popcorn Wiley. Ain't Love Good, Ain't Love Proud. They were co-writers on that. Max Rice, Sir Mac Rice. They co-wrote Detroit, Michigan, and he wrote and performed over 53, 54 songs and counting. And like I say, we about to come back on his old label. When he did the Entertainer, Chess, they had rewarded him without cash, but they gave him his own label, the Brute label, and he did two recordings on that label. He did one with the Tokays, Baby, 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 and Hey Senorita, and Buddy Smith was the other one. When You Lose the One You Love, and You Get What You Deserve. That was one and two on the Brute label. So now, me and Yvonne are doing three and four on the same Brute label. Keeping up where he left off at. We starting right back up, and it's going to be more from Tony Clark in the future.
Well, I am so proud of all that you're doing, and I know your father is proud. And as I said, your father and my husband are looking down from heaven and smiling on us. Now we have to hear from Yvonne. Now I know that Yvonne, are you still singing with the Elgins?
Yes.
She's going to tell you about the Elgins, but the one thing I want to say about the Elgins is that heaven must have sent you from above. I ain't gonna sing no more. Okay. Thank you, Yvonne, for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me here. And I want to say good afternoon to everyone who's watching. And I just want to say yes, I'm the lead singer of the Elgins. Our famous songs were "Heaven Must Have Sent You," "Darling Baby," and "Put Yourself in My Place." And we also will be inducted into the R&B Hall of Fame this June the 3rd. I am very so excited and so happy about it. And I just feel that actually it's time because the Elgins have been around a long, long time. But I also want to say, before I became an Elgin, I was with this studio called Correct Tone, and we recorded. I was with a group called the Donays, and we recorded a song called Bad Boy. This was the A side, and the B side was called Devil in His Heart, which the Beatles cut later after we did. And actually, they called us and said, what a great song, and they were honored to have recorded The Devil in His Heart from us. That was also a great, momentum. And after the Donays did that, the Donays only cut one song and one record, and after that, my name actually is Yvonne Symington. So at this Correct Tone studio, Wilbur Golden said, Yvonne, no one is going to remember Yvonne Symington. He says, so we've got to come up with something. He says, let's come up with, let's say, Yvonne Vernay. And so that is really how I got this Yvonne Vernay name. And on that Yvonne Vernay's name, I met Tony Clark. And Tony Clark says, okay, he's changed your name. He says, and I've got to change your lingo. He says, you sound too, I'll say, Hamtramckish. If anybody knows about Hamtramck, you know that we speak with direct, language instinct. So we he worked on this song with me called "Just Like You Did Me." By the way, it was a hit in UK, and today it's going for $5,000 a copy. Now, because I'm not a millionaire because of that song, is because the Just Like You Did Me didn't do as well here in the States. So they used that song to help the studio keep warm. And so, therefore, that is why I'm not a millionaire because there is no copies uh, other than probably a few who people did buy of the record. But yeah, so again, I'm very happy to be here and thank you very much.
I just listened to your new song that's coming out, and I tell you, people, you are in for a treat. She has a beautiful voice. Maybe next time when they come on the show, you'll be able to hear the song. But I am just really proud of what they are doing at keeping good, real music going. Because some of the music that you hear nowadays, uh, when you find out, you don't know what they're saying, and then when you find out what they're saying, you're sorry. So, as I said before, I played Motown music in my classroom because it was good, clean music. There was no sex, no violence, love songs, but it was good, clean music. So back in those days, we had the kind of music that you didn't have to turn it off when your child came into the room. Now, I have another question for Gino. I know that your father was with Chess Records. He wasn't with Motown, he was with Chess. So, do you know anything about the label that he was on?
What Chess? That's where he did. The Entertainer. He wrote for Etta James, Two Pushover, and Two Sides to Every Story. He wrote for her, and that's where really got to start. Did some work for Ty Hunter, in time, Mitty Collier, Miss Loneliness, and he was a young, good writer.
And I didn't find out about a lot of his writing until lately. But now your writing, tell us about uh, getting the book together, how long it took, and uh, how did you feel when it finally came out? I know when mine finally came out, I felt like a load had lifted.
Yeah, it's been a long haul. It took at least 2.5, 3 years to get it completed. Um, Simple fact, one of the publishing companies, uh, it was called Tate Publishing Company. Uh, that's who we was gonna go with first, but they were embezzling money and all kind of stuff, and they closed them down. So we had to find another venue to get it done. So my cousin, Dr. Darlene Gaskin, she actually took a publishing class together and got it, most of it done herself. So now it's available on Amazon.com.
Yes, and it's called the the Genius of Tony Clark, seen in hindsight. And like many other people who are genius, you don't really realize what a genius they were until they're gone. But because I found out a lot about Tony Clark that I didn't know, I thought I knew him, but I found out a lot about him that I didn't know. So the songs that you have collaborated on that your father wrote, had they been released before?
Oh no, they were like on note paper, sheet paper, and he had to get them songs arranged, get all live instruments being played in them, and it took. We've been doing that for almost over a year and a half, 2 years, but we finna come up with some results, and it's gonna be good. So my father be coming back strong with some new hits, back from the day that he wrote in the '60s, early '60s.
That is wonderful. I'm so glad you're keeping his legacy alive. Now, Yvonne, I had a question for you about your singing career. When did you start singing?
I started singing in actually just before I graduated. I cut my first record. Like I said, the first record was a group I was in called the Donays. That was our first record, and I hadn't graduated yet. And uh, that was that was about it. My
And you've
first.
been singing ever since?
I've been singing ever since. Yes.
I, I found out that people have a song in their heart or they don't. And I found out that I was supposed to keep my song in my heart because too many, too many times people didn't want to hear it coming out of my mouth. But that was what I loved about my husband. He would listen to me sing and tell me I sounded good. And then after we'd been married for many years, he told me the truth. Uh, Wife, I'm the singer in the family. And I say, well, what happens to you? Sound good to me. He said, well, I don't have to lie anymore. I thought I was sounding good. But everyone has a song in their heart. And music is a great equalizer. When we listen to music, it calms us or excites us or makes us move. And all over the world, music accomplishes the same purpose. And you might be in a different country and not understand their language, but when that music comes on,
Oh yeah,
you
you can
understand.
feel it.
Yes,
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 you can.
because the spinners were popular in Japan and England and even Africa. So this was even before. Uh, Nowadays, with a cell phone, when you see what's happening in England or Africa at a moment's
Mhm.
notice,
Mhm.
back then you couldn't. So listening to the songs that Gino and Yvonne are putting out, it's good music. It's the same kind of good music that you can play for your children.
Mhm.
It has a message.
Yes.
So I forget the name of the song, but would you tell us the name of the two songs that are coming out that were written by Gino's father, Tony Clark?
My first love. And I was just saying to Gino, because this song is going to be such a landslide, I'll say is because I feel that everybody basically before 17, maybe 18, had a first love. Everybody had a first love. And I think this song will kind of remind them of their first love. And I think it's a good song. I can't wait for everyone to hear it. And the other one side is You Can Do It. And it's also going to be released on a vinyl 45.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to release it on a vinyl. So we're looking forward to.
And when is it going to be released?
Well, it should be released in a couple of weeks. We will start advertising it as soon as possible. We will also be doing it on, we're going to have another Detroit A Go Go 2018, and I will be performing it on the 2018 um, Detroit A Go Go. And I also will be performing it on the R&B Rhythm and Blues award that the Elgins will be receiving.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you perform this song because I know it's a good song. I'm also hoping that you will perform it at the 20 Grand Reunion on August the 11th when we have the 20 Grand Reunion. I've asked people who used to frequent the 20 Grand to either call in or contact me at my post office box if you have any 20 Grand stories. Um, the 20 Grand was the top nightclub
Mm-hmm.
in the city of Detroit. Are you old enough
Listen,
to
I
remember the
wasn't.
20 Grand in its heyday?
Listen, I wasn't old enough, but what we did was we passed someone who was old enough. We passed them their driver's license, and we went to the bathroom, took the driver's license, put it out the window. Someone got it. This is how we entered into the 20 grand, passing it through the bathroom window.
So I've been looking for 20 Grand stories. That's a good 20 Grand story. So, like I say, we're going to the 20 Grand reunion is going to be about the place, but also about the people. We're going to have a uh, Miss 20 Grand ladies, Mr. 20 Grand men. We're going to have a tribute to Motown, and we're hoping that I feel like we're way overdue for this kind of a reunion.
Where's it gonna be at?
It's going to be at Bert's Warehouse.
Oh, at Burt's.
Okay,
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
but I don't have my flyers yet, but I'll see to it that you
Hmm.
get flyers as soon as I get
I
them.
will be happy to
Yes.
perform. Thank you for asking.
So I see my time is about up. I am so thrilled to have had my two wonderful guests today, and they're just getting started on the new project. So we're going to be hearing a lot from them as time goes on. So remember, 1:30 Tuesday, A Spoonful of Comfort on WHPR right here in Highland Park. And I'm thankful to R.J. Watkins and Henry Tyler for giving the community a voice. And I'm glad to be a part of the voice of the community. And until next Tuesday, may the power of God protect you. May the presence of God comfort you. And may the love of God enfold you. God bless you. And I'll be talking to you again next Tuesday.
When I was 7.